my mom's brother was a famous helicopter pilot in Vietnam, running Black Ops into Laos and Cambodia and stuff. And then I shouldn't tell these stories, but no one's ever heard this stuff. But I remember growing up, him telling me this stuff, and it was true. Like they were, I'm not going to do it. The point is,
please.
No,
What's the problem?
I just can't do it.
What's the danger? You said so much.
Well, no, I mean, let's just say he took the fall for something that was going on. He didn't get in trouble for it. He got promoted. And he was involved in Iran-Contra.
And that's how people get promoted. They fail upward by taking a lot of times the blame for something, or that's like common.
Yeah, so I grew up. I grew up, not just him, but other family, it was like something special, about those Navy SEAL guys. You got a security done a bunch of crazy stuff. That's what our military does. It's not what you hear on the news.
Right.
And it's just completely out of control stuff.
Right.
And I mean, my uncle told me, he said, yeah, I know, I got out of working for these groups and everything. As an army officer that was sheep dipped. He wasn't wearing an army uniform and stuff he was doing.
Right.
We were talking high level, like we're talking running the real stuff. Like
special ops.
He was in charge. He had like the command base in Guatemala City because he was like a top Morse code guy.
Yeah.
Of course, they had satellites then, but nobody could read this Morse code coded. So he was sending stuff to the White House Morse code. Like he was like when he was a kid, he was a champion Morse coder. So he wasn't just in command; he was like running all the stuff. And he just said, I had to do it because he said it was kids being smuggled out of orphanages by the CIA for sex ops in D.C.
Jesus Christ.
And he told me that when he was dying of pneumonia.
Jesus, fuck.
Yeah.
Now, what is it with kids? Why
It's
is
the way to compromise people.
It's the energy, too.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody will hurt kids, and he wouldn't. If somebody will hurt kids.
It's like, what else? They'll do anything.
But that's what everyone's so terrified of today, right? That there are some sex trafficking and sex cults,
and there's over 10 times the bust.
High-level people, but that's like,
and they are though. But that's a fact,
right? But if you want to get
the QAnon shit gets wild and it's sloppy and messy,
Right.
and you've talked about that too. It gets sloppy and messy, and they're not right about everything. But the idea there are human trafficking. The entire reason
QAnon is just people on the internet.
They're like playing games,
LARPing, acting like they're taking credit for something. And a lot of them are good people. It's just that you can give them like bona fide, like, look, they just busted a giant child trafficking ring. Associated Press, they don't want that. They want there's underground bases and there's dinosaurs and there's aliens.
They don't want the real shit.
They don't want the real thing.
So is it that they're just into things that are just huge, more ridiculous than reality? Like what is?
Yeah, because it's escapism, and Hillary's in prison secretly.
Right.
And,
I think they just learned about the world over the last year, and it melted their mind. Like you've been looking at this stuff
when you were on with Joe a few months ago, you crystallized it perfectly.
Yeah.
They've been asleep, now they've woken up, and now they think everything's a cartoon version. We'll say it like you said.
Yeah, well, it was just like, again, it's like if you didn't know anything about the Franklin scandal, you didn't know about Epstein, or you hadn't read these books, you didn't know the stories your uncle told you, and then eventually you just found out there was an island where all these politicians were going to and having sex with kids, and they were getting compromised. Your mind would melt, and then you would get paranoid, and then you would start thinking that everybody's a pedophile and that there's tunnels underground, when the reality is it is bad, but sometimes you have to take a step back and take a breath and realize that, like, there are good people, and not everybody is evil, but there is a lot of evil out there, but you got to take a step back and try to realize, like, what is